Project Highland has finally hit, and we now have our first look at the refreshed Model 3, which has now been out for like, what, 7 years?
It was first announced in 2016, and it came out for employees in 2017, but major deliveries didn't start till really 2018.
So it's been out for quite a while, and now is the time. We have a ton of new info for the new Project Highland Model 3, which is the code name that Tesla has given the new refresh Model 3 internally. And there's so much that has changed.
Yeah, it's nice that we finally got all these details, because we actually heard about this like a year or so ago,
yeah.
But we weren't at liberty to discuss it. And so we didn't know all the details, but we knew there were some major changes coming, and now we know what a lot of those changes are.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and hit down this huge list, and there's also some S and X news at the end that we're going to go ahead and cover. But real quick, Tesla has changed almost 50% of the parts in the car, which is massive, and they've made it lighter, 8% more efficient.
Also, they're totally changed like the front end. There's been changes to the rear end as well. So on the exterior, they've removed the fog lights.
Yep.
They got rid of the rear Tesla emblem, and now it's just going to have Tesla like some of the...
Like what Fran's car had.
Yeah.
Looked really good.
Yeah. Also, they have some new colors available
Yep.
in the United States and worldwide for the first time. So they're going to have ultra red and also a stealth gray, which is kind of like a darker than the midnight silver metallic.
So with some of those exterior changes, they actually have been able to increase the range. So there's also been a lot of internals change, which will be really cool to look at. But supposedly it's about 12% increase. Now we're able to see what the new range is going to be in China and Europe and everything, but we don't have EPA numbers yet. Now a lot of people have been trying to convert it, and it doesn't convert. We need to kind of take what we have seen with a grain of salt. I don't think it's going to be the 432 that some people have equated it to be.
No, that's the European.
But I'm expecting like maybe a high 3, low 4.
I'm not that optimistic.
Oh.
I'd say it's still maybe like slightly better than what it is now, maybe 340, so 350, something.
You don't think
like
it's going to outdo the S?
I don't think it'll outdo the S yet, but I could be wrong. So also though, with the range increase, I don't think it's all due to aerodynamics, but some of it could just be better bearings and stuff like that. Because as we saw in the past, reduced weight of other parts, but also like when they came out with the 2021 refresh of the Model S, it had a much increased range. Even the 2020 and 2019, they had higher ranges than the 2017s, and that was just through weight savings and other efficiencies.
Now jumping inside, we get a completely new dashboard design, which actually looks even better. I really love the Model 3 and Y, but now it looks even better. So you now have the ability to actually turn off the passenger side air separately, which we don't even have in the Model X or S refresh.
Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it made it there.
It really depends how the channels are kind of laid out, but this will be really nice. Now you can have the air on high with like a 10 speed of fan at the driver and like a 2 fan speed for the passenger. It's a really nice feature.
Yeah. Or if you're just driving alone, why bother cooling or heating the other side of the car? I mean, yeah, air is going to move around, but... And
then kind of like working our way through, you now get ambient LED lighting all throughout the cabin, on the dash, on the doors, everywhere. And all that's controllable through the center screen. So you can change all the colors, everything.
Oh, really? I remember your car had that like 10 years ago when you had a Ford. So
yeah,
nice that Tesla finally has that.
Yep.
Remains to be seen whether the S and X, when those will get it, because
they've had the
connectors in there since 2021. So hopefully we'll get the actual lights here and software one of these days. One thing that I was surprised to see with this is that the steering wheel is going to be very similar to what the S and X now have as an option. With the S and X, you have either a yoke or you can get a steering wheel, but now the 3 will have the same steering wheel without stalks. And I know that's very polarizing. A lot of people were complaining about that and saying, oh, the mass market won't accept that, but I think once you've driven it once or twice, it's not a problem.
Honestly, I drive this in my daily 2022 Tesla Model X, the refresh, but when I jump in like Scott's 2017, the stock, like I just like I don't like it.
There's a lot of different stocks, and yeah, you get used to it. I have no problem not having the stocks anymore. And also though, with the whatever they call the automatic putting it in reverse or automatically putting it into drive, that's pretty much been always right for the past year or so.
And it takes 2 seconds to swipe
up
or
swipe down. If it's not, yeah, you just tap the screen and slide up or down. And you do still have the backup down below, so if the screen's not working, you can still change the gears.
But now there's a camera icon on the steering wheel, which is suspicious, Don't know what that fully does yet. And now the center airbag, which is not a horn on any of our Refresh S's and X's, is now a horn. So I'm surprised they haven't brought that to the Refresh S and X yet. I don't know what the holdup is. But anyway, you now have that as your horn, so they took away the horn button and it's now a little camera icon.
Speaking of cameras, there's also a front camera now in the front bumper.
Yes.
And that should be much better for like when parking and for auto.
There's a big blind spot without any ultrasonics right there.
From where the cameras are currently located by the rear view mirror, they can't see down in front of the hood. So now we'll have a camera right on the front. So maybe we'll finally have like 360 bird's eye view.
That would be very nice. And then also some other cool things. The interior is getting a huge overhaul, all kinds of new materials. So the center console, all new design, actually has metal handles, so it's a little bit more premium feel. The fabrics used on the door and everything are supposed to be more premium feeling. You have heated and air conditioned front seats now in a Model 3 in Y.
Wow.
Well, 3. Hopefully coming to the Y soon. We haven't seen that, and honestly, I'm surprised they did that because all these changes that you're gonna really think about, are the S and X really required after all this?
Yeah, and that's one thing when we first took our first test drive back in 2017 in a Model 3, and we're like, wow, this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it was like at half the price, less than half of the price of an S or an X.
Yeah.
And when they did finally come out with a 3, they had some compromises. They removed a lot of the features and functionality.
But for half the price.
But for half the price, you can live with that. But now, if that car is at the same price and has all of these extras, it's a hard sell for the Model S and X. I mean, again, the X is definitely the biggest vehicle, definitely more comfortable than a Y, but...
Yeah, we're not getting rid of our X anytime soon.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of that anytime soon. But and again, I'm still not sold on the 3, but we're going to get a 3 too. But it's amazing at what they're including at this price.
Some other cool things that they're doing is the screen is supposedly now brighter and more responsive, which, to be honest, I thought it was really responsive, just like a phone to begin with. So I'm very interested to play around with that. We have the rear seats have been rear designed, and supposedly they're going to be more comfortable. I know in the Model 3, the rear seats, there's not like a ton of room back there. So it'll be cool to see what they do with that. You have an 8-inch rear touchscreen now. Still with the USB-C ports.
Yeah. And the S and X got those, in the 2021 refresh, but it's not something you use all the time, but it makes it a lot easier for rear seat passengers to control like the heated seats or to adjust the air conditioning.
It's very much appreciated. It's an extra creature comfort that I think a lot of people will like. And it also says that you have the ability to connect 2 different headsets to that rear screen. Please give us that in the Model S and X.
We've been waiting.
Want
yeah,
that.
we've been waiting like two and a half years for that on the S and X, and
yeah,
that would be nice, especially if you're like streaming video or something.
Well,
back
that
there.
way our rear passengers can do what they want.
Yep.
And we can do what we want.
Yeah, it would be nice.
So nice, especially those of you with kids. And also in the center console, there is going to be a 65-watt USB-C port, and that will actually help for a lot of people with like laptops. Anyone that does any kind of work in their car, you'll be able to charge that with that USB-C port.
Also, we hear there's going to be improved Wi-Fi connectivity and improved Bluetooth and microphones in the vehicle. And now, when we first did that test drive in the Model 3 back in 2017, we were really blown away by the sound quality in that car. Yeah. And I don't remember the exact number of speakers they had back then, but I think they gradually reduced it just to cut costs. But we heard that now in this redesigned Model 3, they're going to be increasing it back up to 17 speakers, up from I think the current 14. Yeah. There's even going to be a speaker right here in the roof bar going across.
And with audio, they are adding the acoustic dual pane glass to the rear passenger windows as well as the back window. Previously, it had only been on the front driver and passenger side. So that's going to be nice. They are doing a lot with more sound insulation. They've even gone as far as putting a minor uptick in the hood in front of the windshield to really help kind of push air up and over to reduce that wind noise.
So hopefully that'll help with the wind noise, but I wonder how that will affect like if it's raining and if you're going to have more, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, if it's pushing the wind, maybe it'll help carry rain.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's even better as well. Yeah, so speaking of wind noise, it's expected to have a 30% decrease in wind and ambient noise and a 20% improvement in road noise.
So another thing they've done to help silence it is there's all new suspension. Everything was completely overhauled with suspension. They changed the way it mounts to the subframe for the chassis. They are now doing tires that are more cushiony and have 2 new wheel options. You have an 18-inch Photon Aero wheel and a 19-inch Nova wheel. Now, kind of like all Teslas, the larger wheel you go, the less range you're gonna get. But honestly, those 18-inch Photons look pretty good. Now, we don't know pricing in the US. It has currently only been announced in China and in Europe. That being said, we don't know exactly what the cost increase is gonna be here in the US for USD, but if you look at where it is now and what the cost increase is, it translates to a couple $1,000s more, which honestly, for everything they changed, seems like a great deal in my opinion. And it's still gonna hopefully be available for the tax credits here in the US. So once you stack all that up, it really makes for a very compelling vehicle.
So while we do have a lot of details on the new refreshed Model 3, we don't have any word yet on whether there will be a performance model.
But I guess the faster they make it, the faster they're gonna have to make Plaid, or it's just really gonna eat up the Model S Plaid market as well. So it's kind of like a nice balance, and it's really up to Tesla to figure out what that balance is.
Besides these changes with the Model 3, which we still have an ETA as to when it will be released in the United States, we have seen that the price of full self-driving, FSD, has actually dropped.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting based on Elon's comments, but it has dropped from 15,000 to 12,000, which is actually where it was a while back.
Yeah.
So
that's still a pretty pricey option,
is.
but the good thing is Tesla does still offer the subscription.
Yep.
And that's probably the route most people should probably go, because unless you're going to keep the car for more than several years, it doesn't really pay for itself. If you do purchase it, you can't expect to be able to transfer that full self-driving license over to a new vehicle in the future.
We did purchase it for the Model X because we are planning on keeping this vehicle for a long time, but the Model S, we didn't purchase it on. But speaking of S and X, they also had huge updates. Tesla was busy last night on their website. 20% discount on new Model S's and X's, which is absolutely wild. So now the base Model X, so that's gonna be a 5-seater X with normal wheels, no other options or anything, will now qualify for the federal tax incentive because it is priced at $79,990 and the cutoff is $80,000. Wow. So they drastically reduce prices there. And for both the S and X lineup, all colors are now included at no additional cost, which is so nice to see because we see so many white vehicles. We love white, and we've actually been fans of the pearl white since we had to pay $2,500 from Tesla
back
in the day. So we really like it, but we're starting to see so many of them, it'll be nice to see a little variety out there. With all this information, there's still no word on a Y refresh quite yet. But being that the Model 3 and Model Y share so many parts in common, it is definitely expected to be coming probably within the next year or so, I would hope. But this one has already been leaked. It is Project Juniper is going to be for the Model Y refresh. Now again, I would be surprised if we see it within a year. I think it might even maybe be a little longer because Y is such a new vehicle. Every time they do these refreshes, like that costs money and new parts and new everything, more SKUs. So I think they might push that out a little bit, but I would definitely expect that to be rolling down the pipeline, maybe late 2024, early 2025. I don't know, let us know what you think. I think it's going to be around there, though.
Yeah. It also remains to be seen what other S and X changes are we going to. Are they going to get rid of the S and X?
Yeah.
Or are they just going to add a few of these features to the S and X? I mean, some of them would be quite easy, like we mentioned before, with the LED ambient lighting.
Yep.
Definitely, like the front bumper camera, I could see that coming.
But the more compelling they make 3 and Y, the less compelling they make S and X.
Unless they really add some extra features.
Anyway, that's pretty much it for this. We just kind of wanted to give you a quick rundown of what we have seen. Let us know if there's something extra that we didn't cover that you have seen. What's your favorite new change on this? Are you now going to get a Model 3?
Well, that's one thing we forgot to say. I
Well,
mean, I kind of dropped it at the beginning,
bit.
but yes, we are going to be, or as soon as the new one hits Tesla's website,
Yep.
we are going to go ahead and order one. You could order one now, maybe they'll convert some of those over, but I'm pretty sure that any orders they're in now through at least September, they're going to be trying to get people to take delivery of the current Model 3. And as it gets closer to the end of September, there might be some discounts.
Yep.
We'll see.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're cool with the current model, you're probably able to score some really good discounts. I will tell you this though, this is the only thing I'm going to leak about our order of a new Model 3. It will not be pearl white. That's all I'm going to say for now. You'll have to wait until we actually get a chance to order it, but it will not be pearl white. I think that's going to shock a lot of people. So, but that's basically it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'm super excited for Highland. It's got so much more than I originally thought it would. So I have a feeling Tesla's delay of this project just meant they could improve so much more and make it so much more of a refresh. So really happy to see it overall. Huge thanks to our channel sponsor, Abstract Ocean. If you are looking to accessorize your Tesla Model S, X, 3, or Y, and now Rivian, definitely check them out, all linked down below, and using code Tesla Inventory will get you 15% off of your first purchase. Some of our favorites are gonna be like a center console wrap, really helps protect that underlying material, as well as create your car your own, and a matte screen protector. Helps cut down any of that glare from the sun, as well as any fingerprints, thanks to its oleophobic surface. That's basically it though. Thumbs up if you enjoyed that video, go and click here to subscribe, here for some other ones, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.